Hello and welcome to your November webinar. My name is Emily Hopkins and I am the Director of Training here at Quaver. And we are excited to be joining you today and to continue our conversations about active music making in your classroom and how the Quaver resources can help. And as you can see, I am joined by ostinato himself, Otto.
Hi everybody, it's good to see you. As Emily mentioned, our theme for this fall webinar series is active music making. We love making music here. We're going to take a look at how you can build an active music making experience for your students with the customizable folders and the lessons of our favorite thing, the Resource Manager.
That's right. Resource Manager recently got a facelift. So we want to cover a lot of ground today, introducing you to the new look while also showing you how you can organize some of your active music making favorites. We also wanted to let you know that there will be a few more tweaks to Resource Manager to make it an even better user experience for you. So please stay tuned to the end of the webinar to learn more. Now, so Otto, we've been talking a lot about an active music making experience and what that means to us, and we'd love to hear your take on it. What does that mean to you?
For me, active music making means that I am having a very conscious time and I'm very intentional about creating a musical experience for my students from the start of the day for forever, really. I mean, it's not just about what's in the lesson and teaching to the standards and what the lesson plan is about, but really, if you're reading something on the board, if somebody has to go to the bathroom, everything, in my opinion, should be made into a musical experience, and kind of saturating your day with that thought process just makes the day more fun.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at what we will be covering in today's training.
Oh, yes.
The purpose of today's training is to learn how to organize resources in Resource Manager to create an active music making experience for your students.
And the topics for today are some of my favorites. Number 1, body percussion and movement. Oh, yes. Number 2, playing instruments. And then number 3, singing and performing.
Yes, and with that being said, let's learn about the specific objectives we have for you. So the first objective is to incorporate body percussion and movement. The second is to discover instrumentation options that you might not know are hidden over there in the Resource Manager. And number 3, to develop a song into a performance piece. We'll look at a couple that you could use just for fun, but hey, why not turn everything into an active music making performance?
Why not? But before we do, housekeeping. Please join in on the webinar chat to the right. Amara will be there to facilitate. We're here for your questions, comments, tips, and things that you might have that you do in your classroom with your students. We want to hear about that. If you run into any problems with the live feed, be sure to refresh your browser and sit tight. We'll be right back. And I also wanted to just give a shout out to, we have some people tuning in.
Yes.
And we have people from Texas. Hi, Texas. Everyone say hi, Texas.
Hi, Texas.
We've got people from Arkansas. We've got South Carolina. Oh, Charleston, made in Carolina. It's one of my favorite songs. We've got people from Charleston, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Florida. I'm actually going to be at NAFME in a couple days.
Yay! So if you're going to NAFME, come see this guy.
Come see me.
Yes. Also, if you are looking to get a PD certificate for your time with us today, go to quavermusic.com/PD credit and fill out the PD credit application. We're also going to have a few other reminders for you at the end of the webinar, so please stay tuned. Now, let's get started.
Yes.
Yay.
Topic number 1, we've got body percussion and movement. Lots of different places that you could go in terms of this topic, but for one, if you're in the Resource Manager and you just type in body percussion, there are many different things that come up, and of course we always add to those things, so never feel like you're limited. There are 2 things in particular that I wanted to talk about. One was a very small, I really use it for an introductory piece for my students. Sometimes as just a warm-up for body percussion, but it's called Wait for the Beat. Everyone say, wait for the beat.
Wait for the beat.
This is Wait for the Beat, and I'll let you listen to it now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for the beat. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the beat. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the beat. I'm gonna wait for the beat. Cool. So you know, when you're in any of those full scores, you've got all of your different parts there. We're talking about active music making.
Yes.
Emily, how would you take this and what would you do in your classroom?
Yeah, so for me, I was always a little bit like, I didn't feel like I was creative enough, so I like to start with the suggestions, and then I found within that I would be inspired to do something else. So I'd probably start with the clapping and the stamping here, but then I might ask my kids, well, what body percussion would you like to use here?
And they might say?
And they might say maybe a little chest tap.
So she'll do the chest tap.
Yeah.
What should I do? I want to do the second line.
Well, let's use some found sounds around our desk. How about that?
We've got a desk. We've got stomps. I'm just going to use the desk.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so you do the top line?
Yes, I'll do that.
Okay.
1, 2, here I go. I'm going to wait for the beat.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for the beat.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for the beat.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to wait for the beat.
Yeah. That was fun.
That was fun.
So feel free. You can use that, really can take and scaffold it into many different things. Perhaps you want to make a round out of it and just kind of divide the class into different sections.
Come up with new phrases.
It's all cool. Yeah. Improvise, all that stuff. It's just lots of cool things that you can do with it. So that's one. So be sure to check out those body percussion warm-ups. And then number 2, I've got a song for you that I had a wonderful time writing with some friends here at Quaver. It's called Thanks to You. I thought it was appropriate with Thanksgiving time. We have Thanksgiving time, so this is really an ode to you all as teachers. But this is a song that you can do some body percussion. I've actually got some bucket drumming things that I'm going to show that we can do, and a little bit of movement. So all of it, I'm going to try to get it done in a couple minutes. This is Thanks to You. I'm going to let you hear a little bit of it, and then we talk about some things that we could do with our kids.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Thanks to you for all you've done and all you do. Working, helping endlessly, building our community. Thanks to you. We want to say thanks to you.
Then the B section is...
Thanks very much for being so brave, creating a world where we can be safe, keeping us protected and shaping our minds, loving us well and giving your time.
Cool. So there's really 3 sections to the song, but we're only going to go over 2 of them. For the beginning, the chorus section, we have a writer here. Actually, some of our content writers have created a little bit of some choreography.
Yeah.
So this is a very simple move that you can do with your students. Because eventually I'm going to put some rhythms on bucket drummings, I'm going to do this move with my sticks, my drumsticks, my handy dandy drumsticks. These are wonderful sticks. Do you like your sticks?
I love my sticks.
Good. These are my favorite sticks. So our first move for things, we're going to salute, count, and then down and prep. All together, set. 1, 2, down, prep. That's the first half. Second half goes to the left, to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks to you. And then we get ready to play with our sticks. So the whole thing will look like this. 1, 2, ready, here we go. To the left, to the right, click up, and click down. American Sign Language here. Thanks to you. And then we get ready to play. So that's the first half, and we'll do that with the song a little later. The second half, I'm going to stand up. We're here to the wonderful big camera. So one reason that I really, really love body percussion, as a drummer, I feel like it's one of the most prominent, one of the most impactful things to allow people in general, not just students, but any human being, to feel rhythm and feel beat, steady beat, things like that. So I love using body percussion for that reason. It's easy to transfer something from here to the drums when you really feel it in your body.
And you carry it around with you all the time.
It's always here. Just like your voice, it's always here.
Yeah.
It's here. So we're going to use that. For this B section, you'll do stomps, clapping, and then patching. And the rhythm will go stomp, clap, thanks to you, clap. Again, stomp, clap, thanks to a little faster now. Stomp, clap, thanks to you, clap. Stomp, clap, thanks to you, clap. That's the rhythm. Again, without the words, ready, go. If you want to get fancy, you could do 2 quarter notes instead of just 1. So we got 1, and then 1, 2. However you want to make it as challenging as you want. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So that'll be the whole thing. So let's try it.
Excellent.
And then instead of playing that rhythm on my body, I'm actually going to play it with my sticks. Same rhythm pattern. I'm just going to transfer it to the sticks. Okay.
Excellent.
Shall we try?
Let's try it.
We're going to try.
Here we go. We're going to do it with the music.
Thanks to you for all you've done and all you do. Working, helping endlessly, building our community. Thanks to you. We want to say thanks to
Same
you.
rhythm. Here we go.
Thanks very much for being so brave, creating a world where we can be safe, keeping us protected and shaping our minds, loving us well and giving your time.
Oh,
Because of you,
man.
I'm healthy and free.
Okay, but we get the point.
I don't have to worry because you care.
So
That's just a really great way to take something from your body and start moving it over into instruments.
exactly right.
Let's have
Exactly
fun.
right. So we'll make sure we have those in some notes. If you want to see the write-ups and how we're doing those, we'll make sure to send those to you. But feel free to use it. It's a fun little
Yes.
tune.
And speaking of, Candace said, can we get the choreography written out to learn after the webinar? And we will absolutely work on that. We'll work with Mara. Maybe we'll get it in a blog or something really soon with this webinar attached to it. So,
Candace, we will give it to you.
We will get it.
Absolutely.
yes, excellent. And
Absolutely.
Karen also asked, question, how do you help students who start to feel discouraged if they do not pick up choreography quickly, other than just encouraging and or slowing it down?
Sure. Several different ways. Number one, slowing it down is awesome. One thing that often helps, and feel free to chime in,
Yeah.
one thing that helps me is taking the choreography and actually making different moves. So kind of, I don't want to say dumbing it down, but whatever,
Having
a
a
better
menu,
term.
like an a la carte option of you could do
That you
this
can
or you
use.
could do this.
Right,
Yeah.
right. A lot of times I'll scaffold different choreographed moves based on grade levels or difficulty on where students are. So instead of maybe doing 2 stumps, I'll do 1. Instead of maybe doing a circle game, I'll just do stand in place. So there are ways that you can just simplify the moves that you already have. Just make those a little different. And we can give you more ideas for that in write-ups if you need
Absolutely.
to. Great questions.
Yeah, thank you. These are really great.
Great
Awesome.
questions.
I think we're ready to go on.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, for the next thing, very excited about this. We have one of our fabulous writers, Miss Melissa Salingo, who's going to take you through the next section. Off to you, Melissa.
Thank you, Otto. Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa. I work at the content department here at Quaver Music, coming up with new ideas to send out to you. And I'm going to share with you a new screen that we created to go with Cray Cray Christmas, which is a very popular song around this time of year. And I'm going to ask Emily to come on over and talk to me about this. Now, there are a few places that you can find this new Cray Cray Christmas arrangement.
Yes.
It is for boom whackers.
Yes.
And we're going to go to our resource manager, and we're actually going to go to ORF Essentials under the topic index on the left. And if you click ORF Essentials, you can then scroll down and find where it says pitched instruments. Click that, and we have a special home for boom whacker resources. Woo-hoo! Now, we're going to go to Cray Cray Christmas and click it once. If you click the view button instead of launch, you can drag just Cray Cray Christmas boom whacker ostinatos into a custom lesson if you like. So that is a great way to find something specific and customize it for your use.
Absolutely.
If you want to find this particular resource quickly, it's also in our featured resources right now, and you can find it in Class Play under Cray Cray Christmas.
Yes.
So, Emily, I'm so excited to do this. If we look at our ostinato screen, you'll see that the form is across the top. We have basically 3 phrases, A prime, and B. And those letters along the left-hand side are going to highlight as we go through the piece. Why don't we listen to just a little bit of this? And during the introduction, you can just have your students dance along. The boom whackers come in with the lyrics. So let's listen to just a little bit.
So this should be fairly familiar to you.
Yes. Woo. And if not, oh, you should try Cray Cray.
Yes.
Kids love it.
And you'll hear the boom whacker part actually come in, like she said, right when the voices start. So listen carefully.
Everybody be a reindeer. Everybody be a star. Everybody sing a Christmas song. Driving in your car. Santa.
Now we're on the A prime section, so you can see that letter highlighting on the left.
Everyone go crazy 'cause it's great, great Christmas time.
Good. We can stop it right there. So if I was teaching this to my kids in my class, I probably would prep it with some movement and before putting boom whackers in their hands, and make sure I establish procedures for how we're going to play these things, because that could get out of control if you're not too careful. And also something that I like to do when I'm teaching a boom whacker melody that has a lot of notes is let the kids hear the whole thing, become familiar with the entire melody, so that they're audiating all of the pitches instead of just waiting for the one that they're going to play, because then it's easy to miss it. So I would encourage my kids to audiate the entire melody as they're playing along. Do you want to show these guys how this goes, Miss Emily?
I would love to. I think we have somebody who needs to join us on this.
Yes, we have more notes than we can play right now. So Otto, will you please come on over, and we're going to play through part of Cray Cray Christmas for you all today. Emily's on our D and our A. Got my E and my G.
And if you only have a high D, use that. If you have the low D, great.
The low B and A sound really good too. Here we go, the A section.
Everybody be a reindeer. Everybody be a star. Everybody sing a Christmas song. Driving in your car. Santa,
Here's
are you
A
ready?
prime.
Just prepare to chime. Everyone go
favorite part right
crazy
here.
'cause it's great, great Christmas time.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, I missed it.
From one school to another. Found a present for my mother. Gotta put it somewhere she won't find it. Under my bed or right behind it. Took some present, took some tape. Cut the paper into shape. If it ain't perfect,
Get that harmony in there. Oh, so good. Now, I noticed, Melissa, you had a couple of
So-
extra notes in there.
Yes, as Otto's doing some extra choreography.
Love that song.
We added a little F sharp on top of that B in the last measure of the B section because it sounded good. So
Yeah.
feel free to do that with the instruments in your room. If you want to add some unpitched percussion to this, go for it.
Yes, absolutely.
There's so much room for fun.
Yeah.
So much room.
So we wanted to
room.
also show you some other things that you can actually find in that Orff Essentials area. So I'm going to step over here to the desk and I'm going to introduce you to Knocky Knocky Boy. So let's take a look at
excited
that.
about
Fun.
All right, so you'll notice in this full score, well, before I tell you about this full score, I do want to give a shout out to our friend Stephanie Magnuson in Puyallup, Washington. She actually did this arrangement. This full score has several instruments along the top. You can actually choose to solo any of these instruments you want or even hide them. So we're not going to do the wood block or the tambourine, so I'm going to go ahead and hide those. And Otto and Melissa have gotten us ready for some alto metallophone and some bass xylo. And yours truly is actually going to play some recorder right here. The Quaver recorder. If you come to a convention, these might even be available at the booth. We'll have some goodies. So come say hi to any of our friends at the conventions in your local areas, or even NAFME, where Otto's going to be next week. Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a look at Knocky Knocky Boy. This is a really great piece for a couple of different reasons. For one, the recorder part just uses B, A, and G. So if you're looking for something other than hot cross buns or something in that territory, you want to actually have something a little different, this is a great option. If you're looking on introducing some barred instruments to your students, such as the alto xylo and alto metallophone and bass xylophone, this is also good because the bordoon is very simple. You have simple note durations, and also you're just on G's and D's. So we're going to take a little try at this song. Are you guys ready?
So
Yes,
ready.
ma'am.
Let's do it.
So
Okay.
ready.
1, 2, ready, go. Excellent. Now that was just a first part of it, but we also wanted to show you where you can find this. So we mentioned that Orff Essentials section under the topic index. Just come over here to the left-hand side. The topic index, we're looking for Orff Essentials. We're going to scroll down to pitched instruments. And this time we're going to look at those barred instruments. So if you're looking for some songs that are specifically going to speak to instrumentation for barred instruments, head here. You can go directly to songs and you'll see a number of options there. So anyway, have some fun with the Orff Essentials and other things over there on that topic index. All right, I want to thank Melissa for joining us today.
Thank you all so much for having me.
Yes,
that was
thank
fun.
you so much. And we're going to take a look and see if we have any questions for this group. So let's take a look. We have Sharon said, can this be used on sound shapes as well? And this has to do with the Thanks to You choreography. What do you think about that, Otto? Can you use this on sound shapes as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And feel free to adapt the choreography if you want to do it with sound shapes.
Absolutely. And Kenneth said, how do you deal with management with drumsticks? That is a great question.
It's a phenomenal question.
Otto, what would you suggest on that?
I feel like you should answer it. One thing that I do a lot when it comes to bucket drumming specifically, it's really one tactic you could use is having the buckets kind of spread out across the room or in rows or whatever, and then making sure that the sticks are always in those buckets. And then you make it a part of the, I always try to think as creatively as possible, but you make it a part of the choreography where the students have to put the sticks back down, but putting them back down is a part of the choreography. So the only way that they can actually finish the dance is if the sticks go down, and that's a part of the move. So that's kind of a creative way that I do it sometimes.
That's a great way to do it too. And I also think that establishing those protocols on how they are used and also getting the kids familiar with the rhythm before the drumsticks ever hit their hands, I think that's key. Because then there's so much room for making a mistake when you don't have a common goal of like, I'm working toward this rhythm. If you're just kind of making a mess, it can get really messy, and that is really, really stressful in the classroom.
And other teachers, as you're hearing these questions, feel free to chime in.
Please.
What are some things that you do to manage your drumsticks and have them not fly all over the place with 80,000 students playing them?
Thank you for
Great
those
question.
questions.
Thank you
great.
so much.
So we're going to move over to our last segment, which had to do with singing and performing, and we've picked out a couple of our favorites that can be used as part of the rehearsal process, or even taking it a step further and maybe making some fun with the performance process as well. So I'm going to pick out one of my favorites. This is the canon vocalese, and I actually used this as part of the 4th grade curriculum when it came to rounds and cannons. This was really, really helpful because I had a lot of students who didn't necessarily identify themselves as singers. And because this kind of came across in a very playful, almost game-like way, they felt a lot more confident playing around with it and using it. So we're actually going to sing it first in unison. And this is how I do it with my kids too. I would do it in unison, and then I would actually break it up into, okay, group 1 starts here and group 2 starts here. So I want you to sing it with me.
I'm ready.
But
what's our starting pitch?
That's a great question. So we're going to go over here to the menu, and if you did not know that this was hiding in there, it's fairly new. We have our widgets. And we're going to actually pull up the keyboard widget, and we're going to plop it over here.
That's the widget theme song. I'll go like this.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm going to click on this C, middle C. Are you ready to sing it with me in unison?
I'm so ready. Here we go.
1, 2, ready, go.
1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are we not done?
Yeah, we're done. So this is a really, really great one, and oftentimes my kids would be kind of speeding up. Speeding up. It's so easy to do that once you figure out how it goes. You get excited about it. So if you need another little widget down here, we have our friend the metronome. Right there. Now, another thing I wanted to pull up as well is that draw tool. So often what I would do with my students to let them know when that next group was going to come in, I would tell group 1, you're going to start, you're going to go straight through. But group 1, when you hit the number 3, group 2 is going to start and go straight through.
Plot twist.
And this is where the fun really would begin for my kids. We had a lot of fun with this. So I'm actually going to get a little bit of a tempo going for us. Let's see. We're going to, all right, we're going to go with a moderato of 1, dun, dun, dun. Can you do that for me? Here we go.
1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And this is a really great way, too, to introduce students to harmony, because every once in a while I would just make them stop,
Right.
and they could hear the two notes together.
Where they are, right.
Yeah, so it's just a really fun thing. Yes, it's a vocalese. Yes, that's just an exercise, but there are so many ways that you can apply this, not only in the prep, but having fun even in performance, too.
Absolutely right.
So we're going to take a look at our next activity, which is a favorite of this guy's right here. Vocal sounds rap. Why would this be one of your favorites, Otto?
I had a fun time putting it together. That's why. In the full score, so if you go to the vocal sounds rap, this really is sort of a Bobby McFerrin-esque circle songs sort of activity. It's really a collection of different vocal warm-ups that you can do separately, but I put them together in a song to make kind of a big composition out of it, and it sounds really fun. It's when we get to the harmony part, when we actually get to the singing, it's a very cool harmonic structure that you have. So feel free to take a listen.
A little bit of body percussion.
Body percussion right there. And then we're going to bring in some vocal warm-ups. See if you can do the pops. Lip trills.
This noise gets me.
Very good for a choral warm-up. And here we go with some notes. Call it Tarzan.
Yeah, that's great. A community building thing within your classroom, but there's no reason why you couldn't actually turn this into like an audience participation performance experience.
Which is what we hope you will do when you do this song.
We would love to see that.
Wink, wink,
love
nudge,
to
nudge.
see it. Yes, thank you. So we had a couple of questions pop up. It says, can you put solfege syllables up for the vocally? So there's one thing that I would suggest doing right here, and that's actually going into your menu and clicking on the widgets.
Right.
Or excuse me, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to say click on the text. We have this lovely text box now, and you can actually add a text box. You can expand this, and you can write in what solfege syllables you would like. So you could actually put that right over the numbers.
Take the numbers out, right.
Type it in.
And there you go.
There you go. Boom. Boom. Chicka boom.
Chicka boom.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for your questions. We're actually going to wrap up a last few reminders for you. And first things first, objectives. What did we do today? Number one, Otto, what did we do today?
Objectives: to incorporate body percussion and movement. I think we did that.
And then number two, to discover instrumentation options. We discovered a few.
Orff instruments, yes.
And then number
thirdly,
three,
to develop a song into a performance pace, which you did with found sounds, sound effects,
and body percussion.
Sound.
So if you've spent some time with us today, or the time that you're watching this in the future, you can actually get some credit for it. Go to quavermusic.com/PD credit and fill out that application there. We also have a Quaver Notes code.
Yeah, we do.
And was kind of a hidden little message earlier in the webinar.
What is the Quaver Notes code?
Thanks to you.
Thanks to you.
Yes, so thank you guys. That is the Quaver Notes code. We also wanted to remind you of how you can find help in the future. You can go to help.quavermusic.com or you can contact our customer service team at info@quavermusic.com.
Yes.
And earlier, remember I mentioned a few tweaks to the resource manager?
Yes.
These changes are based on your feedback to the recent update, so
thank you so much. Thank you.
So here are the things that are going to be happening. One, we're going to be adding a toggle so you can search by resource type, which means like class play and lessons, song-based lessons, etc. So that's one option. Another thing that's going to be happening is the organization of files, such as changing where the lyrics show up.
Right.
And then lastly, we're going to be improving that search feature even more.
Always improving. We're trying to. November announcements. Now, we wanted to thank those of you who participated in our annual Halloween contest. Oh, yes. This year, Quaver dressed up as the one and the only. Have you ever heard of Pumpkin Bones? See him, there he is. Pumpkin Bones. Look at
It's
Pumpkin
so
Bones.
funny.
This is the only time I can call Quaver a big fat pumpkin head and him not be upset with me.
So who won that contest?
Congratulations to Miss Peterson and her students at Life School in Red Oak, Texas for winning the contest. They were
Awesome.
great. And guess what they won?
What did they win?
A video call with Quaver himself. It's going to be incredible. So congratulations, guys. Great stuff. Keep up the hard work. And then lastly, we want to remind you, do not forget to not miss the next webinar on December 3rd. We've got two great people. We've got Miss Valerie Diaz-Leroy is going to join this time.
Yep.
And then, of course, the wonderful Emily. She's going to be here. And then earlier, I think we talked a little bit about one of my favorite songs, Cray Cray Christmas. Well, it might be asked by some of you, is this song available on YouTube? I think I heard that question.
I think I heard it.
I'm pretty sure I heard it. And the answer is...
Yes.
yes, it is available on YouTube. You just go to YouTube, you type in Cray Cray Christmas, right? You click enter, right? And then it just comes up magically. It automatically comes up. The Cray
I
Cray
think that's
Christmas
perfect.
when you type it into YouTube. So it's on YouTube now. Feel free to use it and have a lot of fun with that.
Share it with your teachers. Share it with your families. Let
whole
them
school.
enjoy.
The whole world.
And let's let you enjoy.
Yes.
So, boom chicka boom, we are out.
Good
Thank
to see you.
Everybody be a reindeer. Everybody be a star. Everybody sing a Christmas song. Driving in your car. Santa, are you ready? Bells prepare to chime. Everyone go crazy 'cause it's great, great Christmas time. Great, great Christmas. Great, great Christmas time. Went from one store to another. Found a present for my mother. Gotta put it somewhere she won't find it. Under my bed or right behind it. Took some present, took some tape. Cut the paper into shape. If it ain't perfect, it don't matter. I'm gonna be a Christmas rapper. Great, great Christmas. Great, great Christmas time. Great, great Christmas time. Christmas. Great, great Christmas time. Everybody be a reindeer. Everybody be a star. Everybody sing a Christmas song. Driving in your car. Santa, are you ready? Bells prepare to chime. Everyone go crazy 'cause it's great, great Christmas time. Great, great Christmas. Great, great Christmas time. Went from one store to another. Found a present for my mother. Gotta put it somewhere she won't find it. Under my bed or right behind it. Took some present, took some tape. Cut the paper into shape. If it ain't perfect, it don't matter. I'm gonna be a Christmas rapper. Great, great Christmas.